welcome on the welcome to the Almost Aussie podcast, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
it's a good name.
Thank you. Yeah, it's stuck. I think like it's got a nice, simple. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah,
and I feel like it can suit like most things.
Yeah.
Just watch out, like slamming the glass into.
What I was thinking is we can get these things going.
Genius.
And that plant doesn't need 3 cup holders.
One second, I'll just double check so that the computer doesn't turn off on me on battery power. That should be sweet. Okay. Alright, we're good. Yeah, so I guess to like kick it off, I thought of just something to like start the conversation with. On Instagram, I'm following this news page, and they made an article on, you know who Cristiano Ronaldo is?
Yeah, soccer player, yeah.
Very super famous. He's like super fit. Like his leg muscles look like they're like 10 extra strands of muscles like through them. Like he's so fit. And so what happened was that he had a press conference after one of the games.
That was just the Coca-Cola thing?
Yeah, and he removes the 2 bottles and put the glass of water.
They lost like $5 billion in market share.
2% drop after that.
Nuts.
Dude. And apparently so the organization came out and said they're going to start, because it happened with a few other players where they, one had like a Heineken in front of them. So he took it off and put a water on, but he's like religious, so he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
And basically the organization said like, oh, we're going to start fining players if they keep doing that. So it's a bit of like a weird conundrum of, first of all, you promote like the players are a picture of health, right?
Yeah.
The athletes. And you're advertising sugar drink, alcohol, and then you're going to fine them for like just sending the right message to the young people. Like, what are your thoughts on the whole money, sponsors being happy to actually sending the right message?
I reckon there needs to be a new like central authority for that sport in particular. Like I think what's happening here is like the central authorities for a lot of these places would be like, they're old, they're very old. Like these foundations or associations or whatever you'd call, I don't know the name of the soccer association.
Yeah. It's a UFEA. It's like United Federation Football. It's like a European Football League, basically. Right. Yeah, that like oversees all the teams, basically.
I reckon run by a bunch of old motherfuckers with old school morals and like they're just trying to rinse marketing now. So they don't have, and a lot of those people from back then who are still running shit now don't actually have a lot of understanding and don't want to do too much research into like what
different avenues of how you can approach like sponsorship.
Yeah, and they like, for example, like they probably don't believe that Coca-Cola is bad. Like you know, imagine that. You know what I mean? Like and it's the generation that when these games are being played, they'd be drinking while like if they were playing a game, they'd be drinking while like in the sub area where they're like subbing out players and stuff. Like the players having a break could be having a beer.
And they probably like grew up on like watching football, drinking Coca-Cola and eating like hot dogs and shit like that. Yeah, it's like, so you think it's really like a cultural kind of like...
Yeah, and I think there needs to be like new leadership or a new central body, like governing body or association that promotes the healthier shit, man. Like if Little Athletic, like McDonald's Little Athletics and stuff is doing
still
better.
A thing?
I'd imagine
McDonald's
so.
sponsoring, yeah.
You know, like there's this thing called corporate social responsibility. And with this association starting to fine players for not promoting these things, that's a massive violation of the responsibility they have to society to keep people healthy and like doing what's best for themselves, especially considering that people look up to these players.
Especially Cristiano Ronaldo is probably the most famous football player right now, or soccer, whichever country you're in. So like telling him based on his actions that he gets a fine is a bit ridiculous. Like he's your biggest superstar.
If I was him, I'd be turning around and being like, yeah, how much is it?
Yeah.
And then every press conference I have, I wouldn't just be like I'd be going further. I wouldn't just be taking these off the table. I'd be like opening them and pouring them on the ground. Find me now, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
Slap me with what you got, because you've made me billions anyway, so...
Yeah. And, like, he probably gets paid so much more per match.
Exactly.
But also, you know, it's a weird thing with... Because Monster's sponsoring UFC now. And, like, so every time the guys have, like, an interview or they're in the octagon, when they have a drink, they have a water bottle with the Monster sticker on it. Like, I mean, that really drives the wedge between, like... what like the media wants and what actually is going on. I feel like a water bottle with water in it and the Monster Energy label is like the best representation of like a dystopian advertisement system today, and like the corporate media and shit like that. It's so wild. and do people really get influenced to buy Monster Energy?
Well, yeah, this is a funny thing. I know I never have when I see this shit.
Yeah.
In fact, if something's being promoted to me, there's a less chance that I'm going to buy it, because like I'm not going to accidentally stumble upon it myself when I'm llooking for it and decide to buy it.
Yeah.
If something's being forced on me,
it's like YouTube ads.
Yeah.
Like, I will spend the time skipping the actual like ad, them sitting through like the 5 seconds that it plays.
Yeah. Or
I don't care.
I'll sit through the entire ad just to waste their fucking money. Like it's 15 seconds of my life, and I know that they have to pay per person that's watching it, and like I'll watch it to the end just so their metrics look better, but their conversions will be down.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like 3D chess level kind of thing.
No, seriously, that's the level of fuck you I have to advertisement, because maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a rebel with a cause, you know?
Yeah, no, I didn't even think of that perspective. I just get offended. It's like, fuck, you interrupted my video midway to sit through this like 5 to 15 second thing. Like, fuck you. It's like, reported as
spam.
Yeah,
I do that
spam
too sometimes.
No, what's the other options? One is like inappropriate.
Irrelevant. Yeah.
I was inappropriate. It gives me a like warm little feeling inside me. I did the right thing. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh man, speaking of like ads and stuff, I saw this really cool tool the other day. With what I just said about what I do and like watch the ads through, it's sort of relevant to that, because like this tool isn't for video ads, it's for pay-per-click ads and stuff like that. And when I was watching a targeted ad for this product that they were this online product that they were pitching, I was just, you know, scrolling through my client's Instagram, and it came up and actually looked like a really cool tool, you know? And it talks about how it goes, like, if you use this, it blocks bots, fake clicks, and competitors from clicking on. So it doesn't show the ad. That's
for advertisers?
Yeah, paid advertising. So it's for like Google ads and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, but like, do you use it as the advertiser or do you use it as a customer?
You use it as the advertiser.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the person that's running paid ads.
Yep. Because
apparently it turns out that a lot of, like, so with Google you get like pay per click, for example. People run bots on pay per click ads to waste the advertiser's money, because you're paying per click. So people, like competitors, will run bots to like drive up their click rate.
For like nothing.
Yeah. And it's just like, when I clicked onto that happening, I was like, that's so fucking toxic. Like, that's dirty competition right there. But I'm glad someone actually figured out that was happening and then figured out a way around it. Like, it's interesting.
I think with the internet, it gives us so many like opportunities to do shit, obviously. But the amount of ways that you can get scammed nowadays has just skyrocketed. It is fucking insane with how many ways you can just get ripped out of your money.
Have you seen what is it? It's with the latest crypto wave. There's all those like fake accounts and stuff that comment like, I've made this much money with Dr. Robert Kennedy, for example. I don't fucking know. click his profile to join the trading group, like $5,000 per month.
Yeah.
Like you'll make $5,000 per month, blah blah blah. And they just like comment on it. I'm in quite a few like trading groups, like Wall Street bets and fucking crypto shit, and just like trying to keep up to date with the current trends in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty interesting. But all these guys are always commenting, and then I see them commenting on like even like World News Now and stuff like that, and just like random things. Like they're just like dropping these Telegram
Is it like
links.
a chunky paragraph and like with links and shit like that?
Yeah, with like broken spelling and everything too. So it's clearly an Indian that just
just lazy.
But they're getting good now. Like I saw some the other day that I was like, it's like they actually customized what they were saying to the post.
Ooh.
And it was really articulate as well. And I looked at this and I actually read the whole thing. And then I saw the Telegram link and then like the link to this guy's profile, and I'm like, oh shit.
What's Telegram? It's been taken up. It's like another messenger site.
Yeah, Telegram's pretty
social
big,
media,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, it's not social media. It's just like a chat, like a Signal or WhatsApp or...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like
I thought it was...
It's more like Discord. So you have your groups and stuff like that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it's probably more like Discord.
What's the appeal behind that?
Privacy, using your username instead of your mobile phone number, like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, more of like a community, like group chat type thing. But it's... Yeah, I think there's also a privacy aspect to it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Back in those scam things, I think I read an article maybe like half a month ago, and this like lady somewhere in Australia, she invested $5,000 into this, I think it was like cryptocurrency, a specific one, and the advertisement for it was so it was like I think BBC or NBC News website replication. BBC. Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, it was like a replication of the news page. So it was like fake, but it looked exactly like a real one.
Yeah, and
it was an article saying that Elon Musk is going to pay you back triple the amount of what you invest into this cryptocurrency.
Yeah, right.
And because he sees so much potential in it, so if you buy in, you get triple the amount of money back, and then
like
he'll.
That.
Yeah, so basically she cashed in like $5,000 and then they just shut down the whole fucking site. They shut down the whole cryptocurrency and they went away with the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Shit like that, it's going to get crypto regulated, man. And then, wallets will have to have like identification to them. And well, you basically already have to. Like, there's no way to cash out your crypto without your knowing. ID being like pulled up somewhere, because even with like if you're selling on a particular like marketplace or broker or whatever you fucking use, then you have to attach your bank account to that,
right? Like
your bank account's there, and the wallet ID is...
Well, can anyone link the ID to the bank account? Is that public as well? Or
it's not public, but it's like...
But the company has the information.
Yeah, and if a law enforcement agency comes in with a subpoena...
I'd imagine they'd have like strong like restrictions in terms of giving out information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be...
Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of cryptocurrency?
This is what I'm saying.
Like, that middleman of like having to do all that.
So like the OGs in crypto are like, they don't think about like, there's like day traders and there's people that treat crypto like a stock, and they're not doing anything illegal. They're not scamming people. Yeah. They can connect their fucking bank account to CoinSpot or Coinbase, and they don't mind like selling their Bitcoin on there and then transferring it into their bank account. They report everything to the IRS or the Australian Taxation Office or whatever like your taxation office is in your country, and that's fine. Like you pay your tax and everything's good, and you pay capital gains just like with normal stocks, right? So it's treated exactly the same as normal stocks, normal stock profits. Okay. Yeah, so there's that. But then there's like crypto OGs that are just like holding all of their cryptocurrency and just like accumulating more and trading to accumulate more because they believe that it will be the next big currency and that they will never have to cash out because they'll be able to use it anywhere.
Right. And if it collapses, they just have that information somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a couple of different approaches to it there. But with the scammers, it's like, I don't understand their end game, you know?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make unless they're in a country with no, like you're in Sudan or some shit where if America comes to your government and says, hey, this person's been scamming our people, they'd be like, good.
Yeah, but like, can't you just like establish an offshore bank account that you can then access from like your country? Basically what like rich people do.
That just sounds like such a lot of effort for a poor person to do. Like,
No, but if you're scamming people out of like thousands of dollars.
how much does it cost to set up a fucking offshore bank account? Like, don't you need, I'm pretty sure you need citizenship in the country that you're doing that in. Like, you buy citizenship.
But how easy would that be? It's like hitting up a guy. Yeah, but then I guess
It costs like
incriminating.
$200,000 for citizenship in places.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just contact someone that already lives there, right? But then I suppose
so.
they're incriminating themselves. But if the pay is good enough, I mean,
Well, everyone has their price.
everyone has their price,
yeah.
exactly. It wouldn't be, yeah.
Shit, did you see El Salvador and what they've done with Bitcoin? El Salvador is the first country that's just made Bitcoin legal tender.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
like
they-
official.
And
Yeah,
the
wow.
president of El Salvador wants to set up mining rigs powered off of volcanoes, bro. Geothermal mining rigs in the area.
Yes.
How wild is that? And all the, like,
That's so cool.
like there's a bunch of like big old school economists that are turning around and being like, nah, this could be the worst move you've ever made, but really, like,
Yeah, I mean, the potential. Well, that's what's happening in Venezuela as well. It's not official, but people are using it because of the inflation of their dollar. Yeah, and it's a good idea. And the government is cracking down on it, which is a bad thing. But you know, fuck, I don't know what you're going to do about it.
they're now offering permanent residency to El Salvador for 6 Bitcoins.
How much what's that translate to?
What, 300,000 US or something like that?
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude,
But permanent residency, then you can use this money laundering haven. Like,
There's you know, back in the day when crypto was like just starting up, there were people like buying shit with cryptocurrency.
guy.
That pizza incident. Yeah, where
Classic.
They paid like what, 15 bitcoins for a pizza or something like that?
15,000 of like
15,000.
Dude, it was exorbitant. It might have even been in like the 100,000 of millions. Like Bitcoin was like
'cause it was nothing.
fractions of cents back then. Like,
That's insane.
like Bitcoin was the price of like your Safe Moon, or no, not Safe. Safe Moon's like 10 cents. Like this is like the price of Shiba Inu. So like when it was like Bitcoin was low, man, fractions of a cent back then, I think.
Do you know like roughly how many different cryptocurrencies there are now? Because there's like one new one every week.
Dude, I'm on this page called New Cryptocurrencies Listed, and they have a group, and there's like, bro, they post like 10 times a day of a new cryptocurrency listed. It's become such a piss take, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there's like Cumcoin and all that
Oh
shit.
no, see, that stuff actually has like,
Value. I'll grab another beer one sec. Should I grab you one?
yeah.
Yeah, always.
That cum rocket thing, I thought it was a joke at first, like a shitcoin joke, but fuck, a currency for the sex industry, like the porn, it's a porn industry coin.
Right.
And they want, like, what they want to do is have, like, a marketplace for NFTs for porn stars and stuff like that. So, like...
But do they need it? Like, can't you just use any coin for
Whoa!
that?
Do we need anything?
Fair. Okay.
It's
a good point.
There's some tangible value there. Like, there's... Like, it might be minuscule, but it's there.
Yeah.
Like, there's... Like, I haven't done heaps of research into it either. I've just like, you know, read some of the key selling points. I haven't looked into the blockchain that they have or anything like, or like the max supply. Like, I don't know. All I know is like some of the key selling points there. And make a good point. But that's all you need to start a cryptocurrency. You need to make a few good points.
And a catchy name. Yeah. And then you got it. Dude, I've looked into like the origin of Onlyfans. And how it was like made, and it was made by some like weird dude that started different like dating sites where you can like contact porn stars to get their contact them directly to the requests and shit like that. And it never took off, and then he eventually came up to OnlyFans, and then once that started taking off, it was only like with porn stars, right? And then this dude, he owns Free Cams, which is like a giant like porn website for like cam girls and shit like that. So he took OnlyFans and he basically made it what it is today.
Right.
And it's funny how like these origins have like obviously a clear mission of making porn more accessible to people. And I find that like society has turned around and said like, no, this is to empower us, to empower women and shit like that. So
in a way,
you think so?
well, I think there's merit to that claim, because like sex work is the oldest trade in the book. Like I'm sure cave women back in the day like would fucking trade sex for a fucking elephant husk or something back before currency was a thing, you know, like some dinner that night, like Wait,
an elephant husk?
Fuck, okay. I don't know, man.
What part of the elephant is that for dinner? Yeah.
So it's one of the oldest things, but like it's been quite demonized by religions over the last maybe like 2,000 years or so. Like it's been demonized and it's been pushed down. It's been like shoved into the shadows, and there's been like shame cast upon it and things like that.
Yeah.
But what OnlyFans in particular, like what this platform, I'd go so far as to say like it was revolutionary for the sex industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's bringing it back up and normalizing it in a sense. And look, the problem that I have is like men with like no religion, none of these things, still have something against it. But they'll still go see a hooker here and there. Like, you know, they'll do but it's in the shadows and they feel shame for doing it.
Yeah.
Now, like, subscribing to an OnlyFans thing, that's like putting that shame away, man. Like, it's starting to lock that shame up and be like, no, fuck you. Like, I can definitely see, and it's not just women either. That's the thing. Like, there are men who do OnlyFans. There are couples that do OnlyFans.
And there's a very, very small amount of
that
people
isn't even sex
that is
there.
Yeah. It's like literally photographers that were probably looking for Patreon and they were like, OnlyFans. I guess this is it.
Patreon, that's it. Yeah. That's another subscription platform that like, and on that one, it's like less of them are doing like porn and like all that sort of stuff. But there still is the people that do. And then there's the nude photography and everything, which is like, you know, borderlining and I mean, how many people subscribe to nude photography for the art?
Yeah, and like girls taking
you know, like
that's a big thing. Yeah. But do you think that like sex work and stuff, because I've been thinking about it, right? So I've been like running thoughts on whether like OnlyFans is a good thing or not. And I basically came down to the conclusion that obviously if girls want to post pictures of themselves in those situations, it's their choice. I don't have anything against it. Like I literally can't logically find a good reason besides that those pictures are on the internet and they'll get posted in other places. And so if you're comfortable to put it in OnlyFans, you have to be ready to find them in other places.
You have to know that people are screenshotting that shit and putting it everywhere.
Yeah, it's not like OnlyFans cares enough to actually make sure that you can't replicate those images.
Actually, I've seen like people like post, so like that like I knew a girl once and she was like real big into OnlyFans and stuff like that. She was dope. Like, you know, I can't say I was a subscriber or anything, but I remember her posting on Snapchat one day and showing this fake Instagram profile of like these people posting her like semi-revealing photos on OnlyFans, but posting it as if they were themselves. Yeah. And then linking to an OnlyFans that they've created with all her content. And so they're like ripping her content.
Siphoning the money. Yeah.
So like she was like,
that's wild.
Literally putting lawyers onto them and shit. And like OnlyFans backs that too. They're like, fuck that. They're stealing our users' content.
Can you do that? Like what if they're in a different country?
IP
like,
addresses. Yeah. It's...
Yeah, but what kind of outcome, besides getting the content taken down, is there really any major repercussions to it?
If they're in another country, probably not. Yeah, but if they're in the same one,
yeah, fair.
And it's a fair call to think that it would be like someone would be doing it in the same country.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the train of thought. See, I was thinking about that, and I can't find any reason other than the fact that when you have kids, or if you have kids at the same time as you're doing all of this, because there have been cases where like mothers have been outed for doing it. Yeah. So this
kids have been suspended from schools because of their parents doing that.
And they've been like kicked out of school because they don't want that environment. And also, even if like the school is absent from it, how would you feel if you're like 11, 12, 15 years old and then your friend comes up, it's like, or not your friend, or some guy that wants to just like give you a bad day. It's like, oh, look, your mom, like these are your mom's tits and shit like that. And like,
it's like that's not your mom joke. Like,
this is her like swallowing cum and like, like the caption says dirty little cum bucket or some shit like imagine what kind of mental state you put your kids into once they find all that. That's the only negative thing that I can possibly take from OnlyFans, right? The potential. So that makes me question, like, is OnlyFans bad because of that, or should society normalize that kind of behavior that we don't even think about as being bad?
There's a lot of things society needs to not normalize, but like the one thing that society needs to do is stop like giving a fuck about other people's decisions. It's not about normalizing anything. It's just letting people do what they want to fucking do and don't bully each other. Like it's really as simple as that, but it's not simple.
Yeah, because it's to a degree, right? Like you should let people do whatever the fuck they want, but then once it comes to the detriment of other people, that becomes rough. And that's the whole fuck. You can even narrow that down to freedom of speech, right? Like hurtful speech is not good, but freedom of speech is good. But freedom of speech is part of hurtful speech. But that makes me think, with all the cancel culture and shit like that that's happening, and people get outraged on the dumbest things, but I don't see any repercussions of, for example, the thing that happened with Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't see people getting into outrage against the company and saying like, oh, we want to boycott this company because they're promoting Coca-Cola instead of water. I don't see that happening. It probably flew over people's head.
Well, it's because like no one even notices the Coca-Cola there.
Yeah.
Everyone sees Coca-Cola everywhere.
That's true.
Already. So it's just like a normal thing there. Mm-hmm. Like, The only time I ever drank Coca-Cola was when I went like completely sober for the month and I just needed something.
Yeah. Some sugar rush.
Just needed something, and sugar would do. Yeah. And I'd have like a can of Coke once, twice a day or something like that. But I'm fully against soft drink. Like, if you want to, like, if I'm not drinking water or coffee, I'm drinking beer. Fuck soft drink. I'm not a fan. Fucks up your teeth probably more than meth does. Like,
I don't know about that, but yeah, sure.
I'd like to see a study done on that.
There probably have been many, but it's probably like obviously how much you do it. It's always about how much. It's never about like whether you do it or not. It's always about how much you do something that's bad for you.
That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with the whole like society needs to stop giving a fuck about other people.
Yeah.
And most of it is not even like government driven. Most of it is literally people just throwing each other under the bus. It's like groups of people being
just being dicks.
Just being dicks. Yeah. And like when we like quote 1984 and say like, oh, everything is what everyone's watching everyone. Most of the time, it's not influenced by the government. Most of the time, it's influenced by just like outraged groups that have a big voice on social media.
Yeah.
It's just...
Or state-sponsored groups. Who knows these days? Yeah.
Who knows?
I need to pee. Maybe. For some reason, my arm smells weird.
What have you been sticking it into?
I fisted the other day. No.
That bear over there looks awfully happy.
Yeah, well, you should see his neck.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my goodness. The fuck happened there?
People. Well, this is why I got to bring it home because... Well, actually, this is why I got to keep it. It was actually a gift for Lucas, Rusty's son.
Yeah.
Like someone brought it for Lucas's birthday or something like that, or brought it for Rusty's birthday to give to Lucas. I can't remember the whole fucking thing. And then I got to straighten my chair up some.
Readjust.
I mean, angle my chair up.
Yeah, sure.
And then I took this bear home and said that I'd, be careful with it. I just want someone to sleep with tonight, and cuddled that bear, and then woke up and there was a rip in the neck. And I'm just like, it's like, fuck.
That was from that night?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So I left it at my house and just didn't mention anything about it for a while. Yeah. And then one night Adzi came over. I told Adzi about this the other day, right? And we all just laughed because there was this meme on Facebook that was like, when you break something, but like just put it back together enough so the next person thinks that they broke it. And I tagged Adzi and Rusty in it, and they didn't know why. So I explained it to them. It was the bear.
Okay.
When Adzi came over, maybe a couple weeks later, he was just shit-faced. And he passed out in my old, the big room that we used to have like the boxing stuff in and everything. Yep. Yes, like he passed out there on the like boxing mats, and with like no blanket or anything, just a pillow. And I just went up to him and I'm like, "Oh, Anzi, you look like you need a bear to cuddle." I gave him the bear, man, and then I woke up in the morning. And I go up to him and I'm like, "Oh, bro, you ripped the bear." What did you do to it?
What a stitch up. That's a classic stitch up.
I told him this the other day. Everyone had a good laugh about it. And he's like, "Fuck, I've done that to Mel before because she always says that I like break things and everything, but I don't." And then the other day I actually did break something, but I decided to just put it back together and make her think that she did it.
Oh my God, that's rough.
Yeah, Mel, if you're watching, you got stitched up.
Yeah. She still doesn't know to this day. Until this day.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's the story of that bear.
Yeah.
It's a very good story. Had to.
That's rough. That is super rough.
Yeah. So what are you talking about before?
I was going to segue into like, have you been following like much about what's happening in like China and shit like that?
No, I'm getting all these fucking sponsored posts from like
From China?
Yeah, it's like, have you seen what social media is doing with like Russian and Chinese news and stuff now? Bro, you know, like the fact check stuff that comes up on Facebook about COVID?
Yeah.
Well, now, if there's anything any news that comes out of like Russia or China, underneath the page name, it says Chinese state-controlled media or Russia-controlled media. It actually says it. So like, I think it was like CGNT or something. It's like China's something news today. I started getting like ads for them.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I started getting ads for them like 2 days ago, and I looked at one thing, and then suddenly there's like 20 Chinese state-sponsored fucking posts on my newsfeed and everything.
Because you clicked on one thing.
Didn't even click on it. Just like spent time hovering over it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's weird. And now like I'm being fed Chinese fucking news. It's like, dude, you should see this shit. And it's good propaganda against America. And like, yeah.
Dude, that's the new invading of countries. Like, there's no, why are we even investing into warfare anymore? Why are we investing into like
a deterrent? That's a deterrent. It's because of deterrence. So like, if everyone keeps upgrading, it's like the classic nuclear deterrence. Like everyone has nuclear weapons so that if one, like everyone knows it's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's why we keep investing in warfare.
But shouldn't we just like redirect this to cyber warfare and like obviously even cyber property? Just who owns the online space and what like distributors? That should be where the money is going.
Well, that's where it is going.
Well, is it like?
I'd imagine so. There's black budgets and stuff like that. Like they announce all the military budgets.
But like my argument is that like if you, for example, the whole fiasco that happened with Facebook and the privacy thing, and they got Mark Zuckerberg into court, and instead of having actually like professional fucking technicians and people that really know what's going on in the internet into the courtroom.
Yeah.
They got these like 70-year-old people that like barely touch Facebook, that have no fucking clue what to ask. I mean, that's where we should start to like realign what kind of people we have in the government, what kind of advisories we should add on to. Like there should be a whole sector on like, not even cybersecurity, but like this cyber social space.
Personally, I think there is.
Okay.
But countries don't want to advertise it because it's like they don't. They don't want their like competition knowing that they're also doing this. Like, because it is that covert type thing. The way that the whole cyber like propaganda space kind of moves, and the way that they target certain, like they're literally like have articles and shit or videos made written for certain people who will be triggered by X thing, like that's covert as fuck.
Yeah.
Like that ain't spy shit. That's just like they're just being sneaky. And that's what this whole space is. This whole space is sneaky.
Well, yeah, but I think it should start to transition into a more public thing. I think, because obviously behind the closed doors and everything, that's fine. Like, that's good that they actually are looking over all those things. But I think it should start to transition into like a public lobby that people know what's going on, that there's an actual representative of that cyber social space. They can literally talk to the public. Like we have like a health advisor kind of thing, right? Like if not Malcolm Turnbull, ScoMo talks about like the coronavirus, that's fine. But then he gets like the head of the health department to talk about it in a more detailed way. We should start having like the heads of the fucking technical departments for the internet and talk about the things that are going on, informing people on how like Russia, China, what's happening in like the online space, who's buying what ads. Because I feel like that could help a lot of people. It
would help a lot of people, but any time that we've ever tried to educate people on what other governments of other countries are doing, those countries have turned around and seen that as an aggression. And like you can't turn around and say, like, if America turned around and blamed Russia and China for doing X thing, Russia and China would be like, America's trying to make everyone think that we're doing this. It's fucked. Yeah. Like the whole paradigm is broken.
It's like, you
have to be secretive.
Did you hear about what happened in Belarus when they hijacked the European airplane? This is fucking wild. I've covered this before in like a solo episode. But so what happened was this airplane was flying from Athens. It was a European like airline. And it was, I don't know, I think it was like a Boeing 747, like a normal fucking commercial jet. Yeah. And on the map, it shows like, there's this like Belarus here. And there's like this little tiny like cutout of the Belarus space on the map. And the plane, like flight track, like the red line, is just like cutting into it like slightly, just very, very slightly. Must have been like an hour flight of just covering that. So what happened was...
Shit, that's how that plane got shut down in Ukraine.
Well, anyway, so basically it like entered that space and then the pilots got a bomb warning. Yeah. So they got warned there's a bomb on the airplane. They got fighter jets, went to escort them. Yeah, they flew out the Belarus.
By bomb warning, I thought you meant like a warning that they were about to get...
Oh, no. So basically what happened was the Belarus president told them to send out fighter jets to intercept the aircraft. They contacted the pilot saying, we suspect there's a bomb on board of the airplane. We have to get you into our airport. So they can't, or we'll have to like take actions to, I don't know, shoot you down. Yeah. Like, what was the other choice?
Well,
I don't know.
That's exactly it.
It makes no sense. Anyway, so they escorted the airplane, obviously, to the airport, and then what happened was, military people, police came in. They took one guy out of the airplane. They left and said, "You're good to go." No searches, nothing. Didn't get anyone off the airplane. And then the airplane went back to where it was heading, which is like next to Belarus or something. Slovenia, maybe? Slovakia?
Sounds like they wanted someone on that plane with a country that they didn't...
It's exact. So what happened was...
Treaty.
Okay, so that's exactly what happened. The person that they got off the plane used to live in Belarus, and he hosted a website that was actually facilitating all the information of what's really happening in the government of Belarus and all the riots. So basically, Belarus is like one of those states that's controlled by dictatorship. Yeah. Well, democratic dictatorship. Yeah. Kind of like Putin. Yeah. But they weren't like the best friends of Putin. They were like kind of separate, but they had, connection. And so basically, this young guy who was like 27 years old, he hosted a website. I can't remember what it's called now, but basically, he was sharing all the news of the protests that were happening. He was like helping the people in Belarus understanding the political situation and what is happening in their country. Right. And for that, he was labeled as a terrorist. So he left Belarus, right? And then he was in a plane flying over Belarus. He wasn't going to it. Like, he wasn't in the country to begin with. They hijacked the plane to get him out. And so...
That's impressive. I'm going to fucking drink to that. Like, no, seriously.
I'll drink to that in terms of how ridiculous it is.
That's some strategic planning.
I was thinking about it. They would have, like, KGB agents involved spying out where this kid was. Basically, like, there was... when the plane was getting escorted into Belarus, the people sitting next to him said, like, he was starting to cry and was like breaking down. I was like, oh no, I'm getting executed. Yeah. Like, he knew exactly what's going to happen. That's fucking wild. So, okay. So, besides that, they basically hijacked a European Union airplane that has nothing to do with their country. It wasn't going to Belarus. It wasn't coming from Belarus. They literally just plucked it out of the air just to get what they want. They could have held everyone for ransom for all UK, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they could have done whatever they want with the plane. Luckily, everyone went, like, off safe and everyone was confused as fuck. But it's just a fact that happened and there was no repercussions. What the repercussions that happened was that the European Union and, like, America and Germany and, like, everyone was saying, like, this is, like, I can't remember what they called it. But they call it hijacking. Like, you can't do that. Like, a country goes against our whole, like, European code. And they said, we're going to ban all flights to and from Belarus. We're not going to accommodate any of that. And we're not going to use your airspace. And so what happened was Russia turned around and said, okay, cool. I'm going to ban all flights in Russian airspace to and from Russian. Yeah. So basically
economic sanctions.
What the experts from Europe said, like, all we're doing with these sanctions is pushing Belarus closer to Russia to become, like, a cohesive unit. And so it's not going to help us with them having...
number 2.
yeah, it's not going to help us to make them another ally of Russia.
Yeah.
So, all in all, zero consequences. Like, think about it. Any country can literally hijack a plane now just to get one person off, and there's not going to be any consequences.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's some blacklist shit.
Blacklist shit. I still haven't watched that show.
Oh, man. Don't. Because you'll get so invested in it. And, man, the 8th season...
8 seasons? Yeah, right.
No, and I thought there was going to be a 9th. But, man, the biggest... Like, we've been waiting for Raymond Reddington to tell his truth for, like, years.
Okay.
Like, 8 fucking seasons. That's like... I reckon they've been on air for like 6 years, maybe more. I don't know. I started watching
8 seasons is usually around 8 years.
I started watching it like 3 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And as the latest season started coming out, it's like we're always watching them. Man, Raymond Reddington finally starts revealing his secrets. And it's like his daughter, Elizabeth Keane, in the show, not daughter, like I don't even know the fucking scenario there. I'm waiting to hear about it. Like... At the end of the 8th season, spoiler alert, motherfuckers, Raymond Reddington takes her to a fucking little island and then like goes to this like, it's like this temple-looking place. Not temple-looking, but it's like it's just like made of sandstone and like underground bunk. You can see there be like an underground bunker there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, the episode ends going, this is the blacklist. Like, I'm finally showing, like...
8 seasons later, they explained the title?
Yeah, well, like, the title's always been explained, because he's...
what's the context? I thought it was, like, a mafia type.
No, the blacklist is, like, so, like, this guy comes into the FBI in the first episode, and so the most wanted criminal in America, in the world, I think.
Okay.
Like, he surrenders himself to the FBI.
As they do.
Because this lady, Elizabeth Keane, was working there. And he turned himself in and goes, for immunity, I have names of the worst of the worst. And like, this is what's going to happen today. This guy's planning this. And like, you need to stop it. And then this shit actually happens.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my goodness, like, I think we might actually need to listen to this guy. And like, there's 8 seasons of this, like, the most wanted man in America becoming the FBI's best informant and having free roam all over the world. Like, he could go anywhere.
It's so wild because that's literally like how life would be. Like, if you become bad enough and you have enough information, you literally walk away like clear slate.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, man.
And it was that. It was that. So and then, like, turns out, like, Elizabeth Keane, like, might be his daughter and all that sort of thing. And then graduates to, like, Elizabeth Keane starts getting sick of his shit and turns against him because he's manipulating her and never telling her any truth or anything like that. And then by the 8th season, Elizabeth is the bad guy. Everyone's chasing her, except Raymond Reddington, who's like breaking her out of places that she's getting captured in and still trying to help her. But every time that he tries to help her, she turns the gun on him.
So he's simping.
He's simping. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because he knew her mother.
But in a cool way, I'm guessing.
In a dope-ass motherfucking way. Like, international crime syndicate.
Hey, simp is a simp, man.
Yeah, like, this guy's so high up that he isn't even into drugs. Like, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even import and export drugs. Like, he's not even a drug dealer. Like, he like weapons and shit like that, and like anything you could imagine that is like proper. There's not even a law written about half these things. This guy does.
Okay.
And then the FBI kind of find out what he's done to like help Elizabeth or anything, and they're like, "Oh, that's the last time we're putting up with Raymond Reddington doing that under our watch." And then he comes around with some key, and it's just fucking hilarious. It's a great show. It's dope. But the end of the 8th season. I didn't think it was the end of this. It's episode 20, season 8. And it's like, this is the blacklist. He finally tells Elizabeth, he's about to start telling Elizabeth the truth about everything. And then I looked up last night. It was like, episode 21, season 8 of the blacklist. And then search results come. End of season. And then the second result is Elizabeth Keane is leaving the blacklist. What? It's like she's gotten so sick of the fucking just drawn out. It's been drawn out so much that she got sick of
when
acting
did the
in it.
last season come out?
Like it's like releasing on Netflix as it goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
maybe that's a big turning point. She got fired.
Or she
got sick of it.
She got sick of Raymond Reddington never.
Dude,
I bet she saw the script of the next season, and
it's just more.
It's just more like dragging on, and she was just like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
That's the only explanation there. Because
I wonder when that's going to happen with like the people that work at Simpsons, because Simpsons is in like the 37th season, and it's been going since like 19.
That's fine because there's never been an end objective to The Simpsons.
Right, yeah, there's no like storyline.
Yeah, it's just like random shit that's funny that people come up with.
Still,
and
like, fuck, it's just like, I don't know.
I don't think The Simpsons will ever die.
I mean, you know, it's weird when people show like all the like real life comparisons to what The Simpsons predicted. But then I assume if like there's 30 seasons, right, 37 seasons, 20 to 30 episodes per season. That's around 800 episodes.
800 idea.
Like, yeah. How many times? And like the amount of predictions actually nailed was only like a handful, but they just did a spot on. Like that's the classic thought experiment of like, if there's just a monkey in a typewriter that can live forever and just hits the keys like non-stop, he will come out with like a Shakespearean play. Right. That's like the epitome of The Simpsons.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah.
That explains the predictive programming. Yeah.
It's just so wild. Because, I mean, at a point, they're so tuned into current culture that they can probably just, like, guess by accident on what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Fully.
Fucking hell.
No, you're right. Yeah, that would be an explanation for that.
Yeah.
A possible explanation. Maybe
they can tell the future.
The whole world could also be tied into a big conspiracy, or they could tell the future, or you just never know. And we never will.
You know what the craziest infinity aspect that I've heard was, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson in Joe Rogan's podcast was talking about the levels of infinity, right? So you got infinity as what we perceive, but then you got infinity if you
Infinity Stone.
No, not that far. So if you go from like 1 and you keep counting and count to infinity, right? But then like there's also an infinity in like the subdivisions of 1, in like the quarters, the thirds. You can count in thirds.
You can go in an infinite amount of decimal points.
So exactly. So there's like infinity times infinity, like scale, right? So if the universe is infinitely big, it means that there's an infinite amount of possibilities within the infinite time space, because it's like, it's not linear, it's fucking 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, whatever. Which means that if our universe exists, well, if our universe,
that's a good state. If it does, then.
Since our planet exists, that means in an infinitely large amount of space, there's an infinite iterations of our planet.
It's a multiverse.
It's a multiplace. Multiplace sounds like a new entertainment center, like a shopping mall. Like, welcome to the multiplace. No, so there's like a multiverse within the universe.
Yeah.
And there's people doing what we're doing right now, which is us, in different ways.
Except you're me and I'm you, and
yeah. But like, even like you are you and I am me, and we're doing the exact same thing. But like, this
we're saying the different things. Like, you're saying what I'm saying, and I'm saying what you're saying.
That's crazy. It would be like, like Rick and Morty style, where like there's like a citadel of Ricks.
Well, Rick and Morty is the most realistic show I've ever seen.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Well, realistic and oh man, it's just Rick and Morty is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I need to piss.
Yeah, go for it, man. Go for it. My phone battery is in 20%. Got the warning, so we'll probably wrap it up soon.
Sweet.
Yeah, but Rick and Morty. I mean,
beer. Stumbles over the fridge. I knew I needed to get 2 4-packs.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Don't want myself.
You're fucking blasting through these.
Well, I blast through alcohol in general.
Yeah.
On a regular basis, unfortunately. But fortunately, I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just what I
enjoy it. The Rick and Morty stuff. Dude, the writers. I mean, you good?
Yeah, I'm just looking for something to open this can with because my fingers are fucked. Oh, there we go.
But like, imagine what kind of level of like mindset the Rick and Morty writers have to actually compile all of these ideas together.
I don't even know how much psychedelics you'd have to take in your entire life to do that. All I know is that I haven't taken enough.
Do you think it's psychedelics, or do you think it's just individuals that have some
I don't know
crazy life?
Maybe they're sober.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well,
fat maybe on that.
Joe Rogan talks about News Radio, the first TV show he was on. And it was pretty good. It was pretty funny. But the writers on there, what they did was they stayed up until 3 a.m. just gaming, drinking, and like just talking shit with their friends. And then at 3 a.m., they started writing. So until like the next morning. So
I get creative.
They made creative choices based on like how tired they were, which because like tiredness is a form of like disassociation of your like mental state, I suppose, which brings you into different realms.
So maybe the Rick and Morty guys didn't do us, they just did heaps of meth.
I mean,
just stayed up for days.
I don't know.
Interdimensional
maybe.
Fucking
Dude, you definitely need some kind of like a super insane mindset to create Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I mean,
you'd have to be naturally psychotic.
Yeah, that, or you have literally like 5 to 10 people that are on the same like brainwave as you, which is super hard to find.
Where do you find that?
Yeah. It's hard enough to find one other person.
Yeah.
But like 5 to 10, and then
like shit, I'm jealous if they found that. You know.
Fuck, man. It's so wild. So wild. Yeah, we can fucking wrap it up, man. Dude, that was so fun.
It was.
Just like
I was thinking before, I'm like, we should like do this more.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely keen. I'm surprised it took 15 episodes to get us to this place in the first place.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely do it more often. And it's a good scenery. Like it's very subtle.
And my business partner doesn't give a fuck if I'm doing a podcast. Like I can take time out of the end of the week to do a podcast because he's like, that's productive.
You're literally advertising to 10 people right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
It's wild.
Yeah. And we're not even looking for new clients. So
yeah. There you go. Yeah. I mean, it's been, dude, this whole like experience, just the fact that I get 10 consistent views just on YouTube.
That's dope.
That's fucking crazy,
Like consistent views.
Yeah. It's so wild that people actually sit down and take the time out to actually listen to this.
I hope it's not those click bots that
Oh man, my first comment ever was like this like weird, like, you know how you can have these short links?
Yeah.
I think they're like bit links or some shit like that. And then I clicked on it for whatever reason and it brought me to like a porn site. And I'm like, okay.
Might as well jerk it.
Yeah. While I'm here. No. But yeah, so that was weird. But yeah, no, I don't care. It's fine. 10 views is fucking cool, man.
Look, as long as you don't accept Java when that website comes up, you're fine.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. Cheers. And we'll have a fun night besides that.
We will.
Good night, guys.
Y'all don't even want to know what we're doing next.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not fucking each other, so I'm not going to say.
I was about to say. You can probably see it in my facial expression, like the realization
of what I just said. Yeah.
Anyway, before it's too late.